Welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Brick. I'm Joshua Hanlon, and today I'm joined by Mark Larson from Brickworld, and we're going to be chatting about all things Brickworld related, so both Brickworld Chicago as well as all of the other Brickworld shows, and the exciting virtual con that was announced recently that Brickworld is hosting. So a lot of great news coming out these days related to Brickworld. So thank you so much for joining me, Mark. If you want to give kind of a quick introduction to yourself for people who aren't familiar with your role at Brickworld and kind of what you do there.
Hold on one second. I've got two.
No problem.
Things going here now. I've lost you. Sorry. I had your YouTube feed open, so I started hearing it double. I was like, wait, something's up. So what did you ask me? I'm sorry.
No problem. So yeah, just give a quick introduction for yourself for people who aren't familiar with kind of what you've done at Brickworld over the years and what your current role is now.
Okay. I'm Mark Larson. Currently, I am the owner of Brickworld. My uncle came up with the great title of Chief Brick Officer. I've been going with that. I like that a lot. So I started, I've been at every Brickworld. I displayed for a long time. And I think the third year I became the mock card coordinator. I was always late with my mock cards, and I'd have Kathy reprint them for me several times over the weekend. And eventually she was so annoyed. I was like, well, let me do it. I know how to run a mail merge. So why don't you next year just make me mock card coordinator? I'll take care of this. And that way I'll enter my own because I'm in charge of it. And from there, I took over doing the program design and took over artwork when we lost some other coordinators. And eventually over time, started doing a lot of work for the branding and like just some general visual marketing stuff for the events. And Kathy and Brian, when they decided they wanted to retire, they asked me if I wanted to take over, and I said sure.
There you go. And we've actually that's a good introduction.
Yeah, thanks.
So we've actually featured a number of your builds, or a lot of the contributions actually, because you've done a lot with Eurobricks over the years. So I'll link to some of those in the description of this video below once we're done recording here. And you can see some of the mocks and some of the really great builds that Mark has done, because he is not only does he run Brickworld now, but he's also a very talented builder and has done a lot of cool stuff over the years that we've been able to feature. So it's always a treat when we can see your work on display.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So we'll launch in with the Brickworld shows now then. You've already announced, I believe 2 of them have been delayed, correct? So we can start there and kind of give people an update on the shows that you've announced that have been delayed and kind of what the thought and the plan is there.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first year as owner of Brickworld, and there's a global pandemic. And so I bought a public event business during the coronavirus outbreak. So we have rescheduled Indianapolis. Oh yeah, it's perfect. This is just my luck, you know. But I'm like anything else, it's just taking it day by day, trying to adapt. So we've moved Indianapolis. Indianapolis is now taking place on November 14th and 15th, the week before Thanksgiving. So it'll be our first Christmas show. We'll have a collaborative Christmas display there. And we moved Milwaukee to October 24th and 25th. So we'll have a Halloween show. So
you tried out the new time slots.
yeah, very much so. We'll see how they work. So we came up with the idea basically last week to see if we could run a virtual convention. In the meantime, get the community connected, get something for people to do who are cooped up in their homes during all this. And mostly, just to keep things going for me and for our vendors as well. We have a lot of vendors out there who this is all they do for a living. They go to shows, and now the shows are paused for, for the foreseeable future, for at least a month or 2 from now. And just looking for a way to connect customers with the vendors, but also keep building the community in different ways. This is something that we're coming up with to adapt to what's happening right now in society. But this is also something that we could add to our shows once they're live again, to connect with people who aren't able to make it to shows because they live too far to travel, or they live out of the country and they don't want to fly in for, Brickworld Milwaukee. And, people who aren't have other reasons they can't make it to an event. People who don't have access, or they have disabilities where they're not able to attend. Just reach a broader audience and connect with more people and build the Brickworld and Lego community in general.
Right. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I don't think anyone has ever really tried this before. So take us through some of the details and kind of as you've been coming up with this idea. I know it's all pretty recent, but what you kind of have planned for people and what the layout will be like.
Yeah. As far as I know, nobody's ever tried this, but I definitely know we haven't tried this yet either. So we certainly expect some hiccups and some technical difficulties. We'll see how it goes. We've put together a service on our site that is basically you could subscribe to our virtual room. Tickets are $5. It's going to be April 18th. Am I getting that right? Yeah, April 18th, a week from this coming Saturday. And it'll be from noon to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are setting up a number of rooms. We're going to have vendors, exhibitors. We're going to have a presentation room. And then we're even going to have Steve Hassenplug running his Robo Rally game, which you can go and sign up for once you bought your $5 ticket. And he's running a game once an hour, I believe, for 10 participants. Don't quote me on that. It's on the schedule though. And there's a sign-up sheet that shows how many there are. We're also doing, we've got Sam and Jessica and Boone from Lego Masters will be there. Jessica will be selling her trademark bows in the vendor rooms, and they'll all have displays there and stuff that they can show you that they've built, and you can interact with them and talk with them. All of our displayers will be available for questions to interact with, talk about the display. They'll be there. So far, we have everybody signed up for all 6 hours for all these rooms, and we'll have a presentation room as well, where we have 6 people right now who are going to give presentations that we don't do at the expos. They're not done during public days, so people now have the opportunity to come and see some of these great presentations from excellent builders, excellent community builders, to kind of grow Lego in the Lego community in their own lives and their own building skills that they wouldn't get access to normally as a public attendee, as compared to a full fan convention attendee.
Right, exactly. So you're able to even add extra things due to this being kind of online, and people can do this from their home. There's some extra features that you wouldn't normally have at some of the shows.
We're trying to make it pretty similar to the shows. This is something a lot of the displayers tend to stick with their display and talk to people all day. But the difference here is the difference I'm comparing it to is anybody can go through and watch any of your amazing videos of all of the conventions that you've been to and see videos of people's Lego displays. What we're going to have here is interactive, interactive exhibit. So you've got the person who built it. They can move you around. You can ask them questions about it. They can show you special features. And we are trying also to develop a room. We have to make sure that we have the support for this, but so that the public can come in and show their creations to each other. That's not on the schedule yet because I don't know if we have the manpower to moderate that. But we are working on it. It's definitely something that we want to offer because a lot of people, there are tons of Lego fans out there that aren't part of the Lego community. And that's really who we want to reach with everything that we do is, inspire people and encourage them to be creative, encourage them to, really kind of dig into their hobby, make it part of their lives and build each other up, better themselves, encourage them to keep trying, become better designers, become better builders, and reach out and meet people.
Right, exactly. I think that's a fantastic idea. So is this a one price and then you get everything that's on the schedule and access to all of the different rooms that are available, or is there varying levels of access depending on how much you pay?
There is only one level of access. It's the $5. It's the $5 admission. You get access to all these rooms with the one exception of Robo Rally. Since it's a 10-person game, the way Robo Rally works, you're going to sign up and then you're going to get an interface where you can control one of Steve Hassenplug's robots from your computer or your device. and he'll walk you through the Robo Rally game, and then from your remote connection, you'll control the robot that'll be on screen. And so you'll go through the Robo Rally game. It's a lot of, have you ever played it at the convention?
Yeah.
The game is a lot of fun. And to be able to do it this way is kind of in like a super geeked out way cool, like, so it's fun. We're gonna be able to offer something that's interactive like that. But we want to make sure that it's not like, it's something that's accessible for the entire family. So it's a $5 charge, and that's per connection. So if you've got a family of 3, 4, 5, you got a couple people sitting around, you want to bring some friends over, and you guys don't mind going to the same, everyone just choose which room to go to and go together. Bring your neighborhood over. I mean, get everybody over, pay $5 and give people, well, okay, hold on one second. Don't bring the entire neighborhood over.
I was just thinking.
Because that's irresponsible social distancing. Oops.
The goal is to not have too many people together.
Exactly. But if you were to bring over the entire neighborhood and you were all 6 feet apart, you could all get in for just $5.
Maybe a big outdoor area, a big projector screen. You get like a field. You can
wear your masks, wear your gloves, have a good time. But yeah, be socially responsible at the same time.
Yes. There you go. I think that should work fine. But yeah, I think that keeping that very cost effective for people is really nice, because that's always a concern with Lego shows, is that especially if you've got a family, maybe several kids or something, then it can get cost prohibitive if you have to buy a ticket for everyone.
And families have to be going crazy at this point. I mean, the schools are closed. Everyone's working from home. I mean, they are trapped with the people they love 24/7. You know? That could wear down on you. You run out of things to do. So we definitely wanted to offer something new and unique and fun, and it give everybody something to do during this time. Now we are limiting it, because this is the first time we're doing it. We are limiting it to 1,000 tickets. We've sold about 150 so far. We announced it on Thursday. So they're going at a pretty steady pace right now. And the way Zoom Business works is we are only allowed 100 connections per meeting. So we will have waiting rooms, but I think we have like, I keep adding rooms, so I forget how many there are at this point. But there's like 12 or 13 rooms right now. So we're trying to keep it so that people who do show up aren't frustrated sitting in waiting rooms trying to do something, and they pay $5 and then don't get to do anything. So we're limiting it to that for now. This is basically Brickworld Virtual Con 2020 beta, and then we're running a beta test of the beta this Saturday. And so hopefully we're going to have everybody together who will be displaying or presenting or vending. And we're just going to check out each room, make sure everybody knows how to use Zoom, make sure that all the connections work the way they're supposed to, and so that we can offer something solid for this as well. Because you don't want to tell everyone they're going to be able to do something fun and get their minds off this lockdown, or at least something new that they haven't been able to do so far, and they get there and it's just like the entire thing's frozen. But I remember the back in the AOL days, the buffering with the ellipsis, like, we don't want that to happen to people. So we do our best to make sure it works.
Everybody can get in the rooms and see the builds that are on display.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense. Well, I'm really excited that you're trying this idea. So I know I had John screen sharing some of the schedule and everything as you were talking there, but for people to get tickets and check this out, what's the best place to do that?
You need to log into your Brickworld account. So if you don't already have a Brickworld account, you have to go and sign up for the Brickworld account. So we have to have you through our system, since it's a subscription basis to the page we have on there. It makes it a lot easier for us to control who gets access to the Zoom rooms. So the best place to go is the website. It's at brickworld.com/brickworld virtual, putting up links on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. You can also always join our mailing list if you go to brickworld.com. On the contact page or in our left sidebar, we've got a link there for you to join our mailing list.
Right, so people can go check all that out and join the virtual con if they want. But there is other news we wanted to get to as well, because certainly Brickworld Chicago, the biggest show that Brickworld does every year.
Oh, don't I know?
Still on the schedule at the moment, and has not been delayed. So if you want to give fans kind of an update for that, for people who were planning to go to that, what's the situation right now?
As far as everything is concerned, right now the show is still scheduled to start June 17th. Now, there are a lot of factors that we are paying very close attention to. the most of which is our state's lockdown. We will need this to be legal for it to even happen. Right now, we are set to go off of our social restrictions here in Chicago and the state of Illinois on May 1st. Now we're watching that on a daily basis, and you got to be realistic about it, right? You can't just watch the news. I encourage everybody to keep checking out CDC, check out the WHO, and really just look at what they are saying about things. We have no guarantee that on May 1st, they're going to let us all out of our houses and encourage us to go to large public gatherings. So we have to keep a close eye on this. Now it is changing constantly, and 2.5 months is a long time from now for this to evolve. However, that's why I encourage people to watch the CDC and the WHO, because the news right now is saying, oh, we're plateauing. But it's not a plateau until you're on the other side of it. So we don't know. And in all honesty, what the CDC and WHO has said, from what I've read, is that this isn't going to go away completely until there's a vaccine. And that's going to be at least a year from now. So we're going to see this crop up. People are going to be nervous. People are going to be cautious, and as well they should be. I mean, this is a deadly disease, and everyone should be very careful. And that's our biggest concern is making sure that all of our guests are safe. If this event, which I fully expect it to at this point, if this event goes up in June, we're going to be taking a number of measures to make sure that everybody there is safe and healthy, but also feels safe and healthy. So we're going to be attempting. I've asked Simon Liu to be our social distancing management coordinator, and he's agreed. But he lives in Canada, so come June, I don't know if the U.S. will be accepting flights from Canada, so he might not even be able to get here unless he's quarantined for 14 days first, and we just don't have the time for that, unfortunately. So one of the things that we'll be doing is we're going to be encouraging a traffic pattern around displays, and we're going to have we're getting these vinyl stickers printed. Wait here until this area is clear, so that people can have a social distance around all of the displays. And we're going to encourage people to follow a specific traffic pattern counterclockwise, because that's the way the GBC runs around the displays. We're also looking for a hand sanitizer sponsor. We're also looking for hand sanitizer. So we're going to be working with the convention center right now. Hopefully they'll be able to access some for us. We want to have those hand sanitizer stations available in a lot of places. If it comes down to it, we will limit the number of people who are allowed into our 100,000 square foot space at any given time. We don't want to overcrowd that room and increase the possibility of people having to crowd up with each other. We have relatively exciting news about Brickworld, in that almost the entire cast of Lego Masters is supposed to be there, and that will itself cause quite a crowd of people wanting to meet the Lego Masters. So we're gonna have to manage that line. And what we're probably going to do is issue a series of time tickets for people, and then we'll call off the number of these tickets and say, go get in line now, so that we don't have an enormous crowd in one area that people will not be able to get around without bumping into people, or being close to people, or being within close proximity of people breathing. So we'll be doing quite a bit to make sure that the traffic around that will be managed, because when they did Brick Cascade. Yeah, they brought in a lot of people. A lot of people were excited about meeting them.
Oh, yeah.
We've got everyone except Amy Kleitz and Manny's dad supposed to be there. And that'll be really exciting. People would love to see that. I don't know if they're going to want to come out in public to do it, but we're going to make sure that we're communicating all of that through our social media channels and through the websites, through our press releases, and with our media partners, to make sure that people know that we're doing our best to be responsible. I mean, certainly this is, I would hate to be responsible for some sort of coronavirus outbreak for my event to be, because first, I mean, obviously there's the economic standpoint of that, where it's just like you don't want that type of publicity. But like I wouldn't be able to afford the therapy bills if I caused little Ethan to bring Grandpa to Brickworld and then Grandpa got sick. You know what I mean?
Right.
We do not want to be responsible for anything like that. We want everybody to be happy, safe, and healthy. And so that's what we're looking out for. I think that's the hardest thing right now is I have people asking, I have to book my ticket from France, from Australia, from Norway. We have people come all over the world for Brickworld. I love these people. I know these people. And I think the event will happen in June. I don't know that international travel from these specific countries is going to be legal. So it's hard to say. I want to encourage people that that the event's going to happen, that we're going to be here, and that we want them here. But at the same time, it's everybody has to pay attention to every factor. You can't listen to just me. You got to look at what your government's saying about international travel. You got to look at what your state's saying about travel, about public gatherings. And so we're gonna be as honest as we can and pay close attention, update everybody as soon as we have any information, as soon as we know what will be happening. But right now, what we know is that the show is scheduled to start on June 17th, and we're really hoping it happens.
Yes, as are we. We certainly would love to get back out there covering the shows, and Brickworld is always a massive show for us every year. So that would certainly be exciting. If you did have to call it off as people are making travel plans, is there a date you have in mind for like a final? It's going to happen or it won't happen, or is it just too far out right now and you can't give a definite date that you would announce by a certain time whether the show would happen?
So one thing we've done is we've extended our deadline to request a full refund for Chicago to April 30th so that we all have this time to watch what's happening. So we usually cut it off at like April 15th, I think is our cutoff date, but we've extended it to the end of April. That is when the social restrictions here in Chicago are supposed to let up. But as soon as I'm looking at that date right now because I would like to let everybody know before that happens. And that's 3 weeks from now, three and a half. So we will, we'll take a look at things at that point and let everybody know. I mean, I'm looking at it every day. This is something that's like, it's a lot of responsibility on me here and my team, coordinators, my staff. Kathy and Brian are still on as consultants, and they are earning their keep every day. I got to tell you, Kathy Bonnet, whom we've always known, runs so much of what the show does. She is still doing it. I guarantee you, she might even be doing more than she was before she retired.
It's always there behind the scenes.
Right. I don't know what I would do without the Bonahooms or my coordinators. But we have, of course, spoken with the Renaissance about other available dates should this happen. And there are a couple that are viable, and we will look at those if and when the time comes. Right now, we are still contractually obligated to do the show on June 17th. And that's not to say that I wouldn't go ahead and pay the contract fee if we needed to change it, even if the governor wasn't making it illegal to have public gatherings over 100 people. Our guest safety, again, is our number one concern. So
that definitely makes sense. So that's a good update. Thank you for sharing that information. I think people who are planning to Brickworld, whether it's builders or just public attendees, I think will find that useful. So once again, this information is the Brickworld website kind of always the best place for people to go check out and kind of get the latest information. Is that where you post the updates?
Can I be completely honest? I think Beyond the Brick is the best place to go post the updates, because I'm on. We have our website, we have our mailing list, we have our Facebook page, we have our Instagram feed, we have our Twitter feed, we have a YouTube channel, and people are going to you to ask if Chicago is still on.
Well, that's why we wanted to have you on today, because we have a lot of Brickworld fans who watch. So I'm glad we can help get the word out. But yeah, we'll always do our part as well. Like I mentioned, Brickworld Chicago, as well as the other Brickworld shows, are always big events for us every year. So this also is a big deal for us as we're following this and hoping that we can attend these shows. So we also do our best to let people know what's going on.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that.
And
actually, I haven't announced yet that the keynote speaker at this year's Brickworld is Josh and John Hanlon.
That's right. Yeah, this is
Beyond the Brick fame.
People who are attending all the days of the show and have registered as attendees, John and I will be doing the keynote presentation. We've got some exciting stuff planned for everyone, so I hope anyone who is in attendance there can join us for that, because we're super excited for it. And I think all of you should hopefully get some nice little tidbits of YouTube as well as our time in the Lego community from the presentation.
Yeah.
So,
see, I brought you an exclusive announcement. How about that?
This is the first time we mentioned on the channel here, so yeah, it's the big news. So definitely, if you're attending the show, make sure to look for the keynote on the schedule. It's always a good time. And before I let you go here, Mark, I also wanted to go over. So I know we mentioned Indianapolis and Milwaukee have been moved and the new dates for those shows, but there are other Brickworld shows on the schedule as well, correct? So for those other shows, what's going on with them? What's the plan for the other shows that Brickworld has?
I mean, it's just the same story. You know, they're scheduled to go on right now as far as we know. We've got Kansas City on July 25th and 26th. Detroit, September 26th and 27th, Fort Wayne, 10th and the 11th, and again, Milwaukee on October 24th and 25th, and November 14th and 15th will be our Brickworld Indianapolis show this year.
There you go. So those shows are all kind of scheduled just to go as normally at this point. And once again, hopefully that all happens and you can get things back on track with those. But it's been nice to see Brickworld expanding out to some of these new cities over the last couple of years here, and trying out different locations.
Yeah, we're definitely giving them a shot. This will be our second year in Kansas City, our second year in Milwaukee, and so we'll try these. We'll try these at least twice, and then if they're viable, we will keep doing them there. We've got great support in all those areas. We put on great shows in every place, and we don't have the people showing up the way that they do in Indianapolis or Chicago quite yet. But we stick with them. Word of mouth is still our best marketing tool. So we're working to get those shows built up and spread our influence throughout the community. We get the question a lot, like, why aren't you in New York? Why aren't you in LA? And like I go where the U-Haul drive is 8 hours or less at this point. I mean, we've got people who want us to come to France, and I would love to go to France, but I just don't want to register as an international business at this point. So we're going to work on what we have now and perfecting what we have. I took this over from Kathy and Brian, and I don't intend to try to break it until I really know how it works. So I can keep going with this model, work on these shows, and make sure that they're successful before I start spreading myself too thin. And that is the plan for now.
That sounds good. Yeah, you don't just want to go in and completely overhaul everything. So slowly but surely.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that it's certainly going slowly but surely right now. Is a lot of these, my first year, a lot of the shows have even been completely rescheduled.
Sounds good. But yeah, once again, I'll mention brickworld.com if you want to find more information about Virtual Con as well as all the other Brickworld shows. So for those of you who might have just joined us live, thank you to everyone who watched us while we were chatting here with Mark. I'll make sure to put links to some of the videos we've done with Mark in the description of the video here, as well as the Brickworld website, so you can check all of that out and keep up to date with what's going on with the exciting Brickworld shows. But hopefully, Mark, we'll be back to seeing you in person here before too long. And the shows can carry on as usual. But thank you so much for taking the time to give us, as well as everyone watching, an update on your Brickworld plans here for the year.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thank you so much. And we'll see everyone soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.